What is up, Rubber Duckies fans? Welcome back to episode 4 of the podcast. It's a cold Tuesday afternoon here in Buffalo. Beers are flowing. Sabres play tonight. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Peter Buffone. Peter, how was your week? How was Thanksgiving for you?
Oh yeah, dude, it was solid. I didn't have to go over to my aunt's house this year, which is great because last year actually I found out something. So I'm sitting there at my aunt's house, I'm drinking a beer, we're watching football or whatever, and there's like screaming and yelling going around. And of course, my dad's in the middle of it. Sounds about right, right? Mind you, this is his side of the family, so I'm driving home and I'm on the way home, and I just think to myself, I'm like, this is the shortest time we spent at my aunt's house in the Thanksgiving in a while. Like all of the 10 minutes we were there. And then I got to thinking to myself, I don't have that drunk political uncle. It's a real weird situation. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. And then, I get to a stoplight like right around the corner from my house and I realize something. I go, oh, shit. My dad's the drunk political uncle. So, yeah, that was fun. But, a couple good football games, a good week. Had some like I said, no time with the family, which is great. But how was your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, mine was good. I didn't actually get home till Thanksgiving Day. My brother was on call for his job, so we didn't actually do Thanksgiving until Friday. And then coming home was horrible. I had to drive through that Watertown storm at like
Oh,
1 in
yeah,
the
for sure.
morning, and it was like 2 feet of snow. And I was thinking to myself, this might be it. This might be where I cease to exist. But luckily, I had a buddy that was behind me. No idea who it was. It was some middle-aged woman. We came to a stoplight at the same time. We looked at each other and we're like, "We're fucking doing this." And so at least I had a buddy. So shout out to whoever that was. Thanks for going those 30 miles at 20 miles an hour with me, because that was some sketchy shit, dude. But eventually got home Sunday morning early at like 3 a.m. Got a quick nap in, and then prepared for the Bills game later that night.
Yeah, dude, solid game. Honestly, I had a little, the Niners coming into Buffalo. Number one, West Coast teams never play well when they're going east. Number two, even with the Niners record at least, I was not comfortable with this game. I thought it was like, this could be a really good trap game for the Bills. They're gonna blow this one. You know what? It started out just as I thought. It started out slow, but that's the Bills' MO this season. Start the game slow, but finish. I I I don't know how to describe the finish on Sunday. It was absolutely amazing. But
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing the Bills have issues with this year is the run game. I mean, you saw it in the Baltimore game, and there's two things that go into that. Number one, the conditions of the field made it very hard for a run game, unless you're James Cook for whatever reason. And then Chris McCaffrey getting hurt was huge for the Bills. Unfortunate for him. I mean, he's out again for another 6 weeks after being out at the beginning of the season this year. And he's an incredible player, but he's just having those lingering knee issues. And I'm sure the snow and the slipperiness of the field had something to do with that.
so big. Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's a knee injury. I think he ruptured his Achilles.
Could be.
I saw it clear. I know the Niners are saying, like 6 weeks, it's a knee injury, like PCL, I think they said. It's I saw it clear as day live on the broadcast. I saw it clear as day, his left Achilles. It's
The
that
snap.
last, yeah, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, oh my God. Kevin Durant, same thing. You can see it fucking pop. I saw it live in the broadcast, took a look at a replay on Twitter later. It's Achilles. They just don't want to tell anyone. Anyway, besides the point. Um, well, let's just talk one thing. We'll finish up with the Bills here. It was a solid win, but one thing we got to talk about is Josh Allen, first quarterback in since the NFL merger to have a passing, receiving, and a rushing touchdown in the same game. However, weird scoring, but still, he did it.
Yeah, Amari Cooper, great heads up play. Josh is just an incredible quarterback to be there to support him. And that was like an unreal, like I've never seen anything like that in my life. And
Yeah,
but the thing that pissed me off the most is the way that Chris Collinsworth has to bring the freaking Kansas City Chiefs into every fucking game. Sorry for cussing, but like holy shit. Like why is it every time it has to be some reference to Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes.
Like I understand because I'm very, very active on Twitter during Bills games. I follow a lot of the shit posting guys, and fair. I find it absolutely hilarious, but I always found the ones where they're like, oh, they're overemphasizing our Lord and Savior Patrick Mahomes, those edits and stuff. This is the first time in a game it actually came like straight out to the front. Yeah, there's like a couple little references here and there, but I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, who fucking cares, Chris? I'm
Yeah.
watching a fucking Bills game here. I don't need to know what the Chiefs are doing. They almost lost to the damn Raiders if it wasn't for their black magic in,
And the referees
in
changing calls so that Raiders didn't get the ball
yeah.
back.
And
Ridiculous.
Taylor Swift fucking sacrificing someone under the stadium, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. You know what? She needs to go in the pit. She needs to be
I
sacrificed.
look at my Instagram. It's the last post I had. It was from last year before the Chiefs game. It is probably one of the funniest things I've ever posted on Instagram. It's easy to find because it's literally like one of 5 posts I have on my personal Instagram. But that's what got me into the video editing, which got us here, which got us all the way to this podcast. With that being said, let's switch it over to hockey. Sabres, they suck.
Yeah. You know what? But do they? They always do this. They win 3 games, they lose 3 games. Tonight's game against Colorado is going to be huge. And the reason I say that is because, number one, Casey Middlestad's coming home. And the Colorado Avalanche have been such a up and down team as well. Like the Sabres don't have a guy like the Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg, he's fucking incredible. But they don't have goaltending right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're a weird team. They're 2 years out of a Stanley Cup right now?
Yep.
And they regressed a little bit last year, but they still I really don't know what to make of this Avs team. It's just, and also I've be completely honest with you, I haven't seen a lot of their games. Obviously, it's hard for us to see Western games just because how late they're on. I have not watched, I don't think, a minute of Avs hockey, so I really couldn't tell you much about them. But the Central is a weird division. You got Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado. It's just a weird division to be in this year because it's so stacked.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is a contender. Winnipeg was a contender. They're kind of dropping off right now. Nashville, who's supposed to be good, just not. And then you got Chicago. St. Louis, just these teams that are underperforming, and I feel bad for the Connor Bedards because he's going to start to hate hockey, and he didn't have the exponential growth like the Oilers did when McDavid was healthy for a full season. I just don't think Bedard is that type of player to be able to elevate like McDavid can, but McDavid's the best player in the world. So you'll see that. And also, Bedard doesn't have a Draisaitl.
No, he doesn't. He has Nick Foligno.
He's got Nick Foligno.
That's really going to take you somewhere.
Great locker room guy, but
he's not single-handedly leading.
Points.
Yeah, he's not single-handedly leading the German team to a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Exactly.
Which he almost did. But.
The Central Division is a weird division. You got stacked teams and then bad teams, and then Colorado kind of fits in there somewhere. Yeah. Which on paper they should be better. I mean, they got Mikko Rantanen as long as he can stay out of the nose powder.
Him and Kuznetsov.
Oh, sorry, that's Nichushkin. Nichushkin.
Oh, it's always the Russians, and
yeah. Hey, if I'm going to a party, I want it to be a Russian party.
Jesus Christ.
Everybody there, for women, you are either beautiful or you are 75 years old. Like, that's the two.
Well, that's what it's the big coats. That's what makes dating in Russia so hard, is you never know. It's literally a 50-50. It's literally a 50-50 shot. You got to get them in the house or in the restaurant. Then they take off the coat. Then you see what you're doing. You never really know because they're so big and fluffy. Anyway, let's look at the last 3 games for the Sabres. Obviously, lost all 3 in fantastic fashion, as the Sabres usually do. 1-0 loss to the Wild. Honestly, I didn't think they played that bad of a game.
That was probably one of the Sabres' better games. It just they got out-goaltended. They
could not score, and let's be honest, they left Luukkonen to dry on a 4-on-1, which, I mean, Kirill Kaprizov is a great player, don't get me wrong, but if they have another 2 guys back there, he's probably not scoring on that. fucking. Let's be honest with
Absolutely.
you. The Canucks game, they played well in just the second period. The second period has been a problem for them all year. I don't know why it's a big dip off in the second, but you see it. Again, one of the games I was at, and I'm sitting there in the stands. I'm just like, God, they look like shit in the second. But they come out and outshoot the Canucks, what, like 15-3 in the third period to
Yeah.
send it to overtime? Something like that? I I don't know.
And Jake DeBrusk is on a tear right now.
Oh, that's yeah. And the Vancouver's a good team too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're they're one of the better, especially in that Pacific Division.
And they don't
And
even have
then
their arguably best player and their best goaltender right now.
I know I don't even know who played for them that game. I don't know who was in net for them that game. Still have not figured it out.
Uh, I think it was
But
like the guy they called up for playoffs last year because they went through three
yeah.
goaltenders in like one series.
Mhm. I mean, that just shows you the issues that some of these other teams are having that Sabres just can't take advantage of it.
Right.
Like we talked about with that first Florida game this season, where Bob was out, Kachuk was sick, the other half of the lineup got in like a bus accident, and they won that game. It doesn't matter how you win, doesn't matter who's on the ice. You just got to take the wins when you can get them. Because in
Exactly.
any normal situation, this Sabres team is not beating that Panthers team. But
No.
we'll cry about that when the Panthers come back around. Um, Saturday against the Isles, honestly, they looked like shit. Owen Power should be taken out back and shot. He's awful. If it
Yeah,
wasn't for him being one of the top defensive point scorers in the league, he'd be probably in the coast right now. To be completely honest with
I
you.
am the biggest Owen Power hater. I have said it before. I think that he's just a defensive liability out there. Also, the way he has his hair like inside his visor, like, dude, you look like you're out there for learn to skate and you don't know what you're doing here. You shouldn't be a NHL top six defenseman and you look like that. Like, have some fucking pride.
Like, I get it that when was he drafted? He was the 21 draft, right? 21 or 22?
21, 22, first overall. I mean, he's not a first overall draft pick.
No, it's just he got lucky that that draft was so weak. Let's be honest with you. And I get it. Got to give him time. Got to give defenseman time. Like, what's this? Darlene's shit. What is this?
This is his
Uh,
seventh season.
Seventh season, and you can see him. He's starting to come into form. I get you got, and even with Hedman, it took him what 6 or 7 years
Yeah.
to get to where he's at. I get it. You got to give defensemen time to develop, but Jesus Christ, this kid is awful. I, I don't know. There's no other way to put it than this kid is just bad. Get rid of him, sell him
Unless Owen
off.
Power goes out and gets 3 points tonight. If Owen Power gets 3 points tonight, I will take back everything I said. That is the only way that I will take back anything said. Tonight, December 3rd, Tuesday, 7 p.m. against the Colorado Avalanche. If Owen Power gets 3 points tonight, I will take back everything I said.
Honestly, they're better off if someone just goes down here and Tanya Hardings him in the hallway. I mean,
Probably get
there's
Gilbert
no other
there.
reason. Please. Um, Also, Abe Kubel, I know he hasn't played a lot, but he's fucking invisible whenever he plays. And number three, I heard in the post game from the Canucks game on the way home, that Matthias Samuelson's starting to skate again, and another guy that needs to be Tanya Harding and stay on IR because they play so much better with him out of the lineup. He
Yeah,
is
I
such
mean,
a
at
waste
one
of
point,
yeah.
it was Samuelson and Gilbert switching on and off, and they'd win the games that Gilbert played and lose the one Samuelson played. Like,
I
that's a pretty clear indicator that who's the better defenseman there.
I mean, I don't know what they were smoking when they gave Matthias Samuelson a 7x7 contract. But he's barely worth the league minimum at this point.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even play. He's hurt every other week. I don't know what you need to do with this guy to keep him healthy, other than maybe chop his leg off and give him a bionic leg.
I agree. So just looking ahead, Sabres got a 5 game home stretch here. They've got Avalanche today, Tuesday, December 3rd. Thursday, they play the Jets, and then Saturday, they play Utah. Unfortunately, I can't go to the Utah game. I would have loved to see that game.
Oh, that would be a
Um,
good game. I bet you tickets are going to be cheap for that too.
yeah, I got to work.
Ah, that's a shame.
Yeah. And then they host the Red Wings and then the Rangers, and then they go back on the road for a little Metro swing. They got Capitals, Leafs, and Canadians. And Yeah, so I think the Sabres have potential. I just think they need to start stringing wins together and not win three and lose three. It's okay to win three and lose one and then go back on winning, but
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
they're sitting 500 right now.
Well, what was it? I think that's even quoted by Lindy Ruff. He goes, "If we lose one game, that's fine. We just need to make sure we bounce back."
Yeah.
It's but anyway, let's finish. That's enough crying and screaming and yelling about the Sabres. We need something to talk about next week, so we can't get it all out of the way here. Let's move on to the Bruins here. 6-3 win over the Canadians on Sunday in the big Centennial game. Bruins starting to come out of their shell a little bit here and starting to get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, tough loss to the Penguins on Friday. I mean, that was a game they should have won. Penguins suck. Um, what did you think of the Bruins jerseys, the Centennial jerseys?
You know what? I have not did not see them. Let me just look it up real quick. But while I do that, Charlie Coyle and Charlie McAvoy, 2 goals each in that game.
Yeah,
Wild.
Bruins scored. Bruins scored in the first period, right at the end of the first period, 3 goals in 70 seconds. That's what I expect out of the Bruins against a team like Montreal. I mean, Montreal's not good, and we shouldn't
I don't
be
know.
playing close games. And I was texting my buddy while the game was going on that Bruins scored three in 70 seconds, and they're like, "What a start!" And I texted him back and was like, "They'll blow it." Like the
Hmm.
Bruins are a team that blow it, and they tried to blow it in the third period.
Honestly, I like them. I like those jerseys.
I
It's
I, I don't love them. I like the ones from last year better, the 100-year
I
jerseys.
hated the ones from last year. I did not like the
Really?
I did okay, to be fair, I did not like their dark jerseys from last year.
No, those I
The
love.
the away whites I thought were okay. They weren't the best. They were okay. I like these a lot more because it's truer to the colors of the Bruins. I like how they kept the yellow circle with
Hmm.
the black pinwheels and the yellow B. I like the yellow cuffs. I think this is a solid jersey, honestly. I
I'm
really
just not
do.
a fan of it. I mean, if the Bruins are going to win like that every game, you sure keep them. But that's the only time they're going to wear them.
I know, but it's a good. I'm not a big fan of new jerseys every season. Like I get it, the teams need to make money. That's why they put out. But when you come up with like a good idea, like like when the Canes wear the Whalers jerseys or the Avs wear the Nordique stuff, that's amazing. I love that stuff. Going back to your
Yeah,
roots, going
that's exactly
even if it's not your franchise, it's still the history of that team. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, and this one, it's going back. I like that they're going back kind of to their roots with a little bit more yellow. It reminds me of the 80s styles jerseys. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the old
yeah,
Bobby
like
Orr ones. I love them.
more Ray Bork,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Ray Bork, Cam Neely.
Hmm.
Um, but the Bruins have been better under Joe Sacco. They're playing more offense, and I think that's one thing Jim Montgomery was scared of. He wasn't playing kids like Mason Lohrei, who's an offensive defenseman who can move the puck well, but he was just fear of losing his job, and ultimately, it didn't work out. Um, but yeah, if the Bruins keep playing the way that they're playing right now, I mean, obviously, they've only won one game, you know, and you just got to dominate teams, and you
I
need
mean,
it.
to be fair, they have a pretty easy schedule coming up for the next 3 games. They have they're hosting the Red Wings tonight at 7. Tuesday, December 3rd. Tomorrow they got the Black. They're in Chicago. And
which
that's a
is
weird
which is
travel.
great. I'd rather play
Yeah.
Chicago on a back-to-back than any other team because Chicago is
No, a
awful.
100%. But this is just a weird scheduling because they're in Boston for the Wings. Then they got to fly to Chicago tomorrow to play at 7:30, and then they're flying back to Boston for. Well, granted they have like 3 days rest, but they got the Flyers on Saturday.
And the
Um,
Flyers are looking good.
they are. I mean, to be honest, ever since the Sabres they saw the Sabres down there, they've been on a little bit of a tear. But it's a good couple games to get the Bruins back on track.
Yeah, I'm looking for at least 2 out of 3 wins. The only one I'm nervous about is the Flyers, just because they're just a tough team and playing against Torts is always hard.
Yeah. And then just looking a little bit more forward into the future for the Bruins, after that Flyers game on Saturday next week, they go out on the Western Canada swing.
Yeah,
Winnipeg, then down to Seattle, then up to Vancouver, then Calgary, Edmonton on the way home.
yeah, yeah. They're gonna be gone for a while.
Yeah. So their last home game is this Saturday the 7th against the Flyers. They're not back in Boston until the 21st when they host the Sabres, actually.
Yeah. And you
So
and I will
that's a
both be
long
watching that
trip.
game.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be one we're gonna have a lot to talk about. So let's save it. Save it for that. Let's move on here, and considering we're talking about guys like Mikko Rantanen, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, let's take a look at Finland's Four Nations potential roster. Last week we took a look at the U.S. and Canadian teams. You know what? I don't know. I think that this Finnish team might be the weakest of the four, to be honest with you. Um,
Yeah.
Granted, there's some big names on this roster. Just there's no like real big superstars, especially well, maybe one with Alexander Barkov. That's about it though. No one else like real super, like no William Nylander, no Connor McDavid, no Austin Matthews on this
Right.
roster.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
their superstars are in the more defensive side, whether that be Barkov with his
mhm.
two-way play and goaltending.
Yeah, I mean their goaltending. Right now we got Kevin Lankinen from Vancouver. Oh, that's who was in for Vancouver that game.
Mm.
That's it. Yeah, I didn't. You know why? I didn't think it was a Finnish dude because his first name's Kevin.
Yeah, that is weird.
Okay, yeah. Well, he's definitely naturalized. I don't think he. That's all speculation. But who? Anyway, we got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, UC Saros, and Kevin.
And Kevin.
And Kevin.
Yeah,
That's
I see UC Saros
that's a
being the
trio.
starter there. I don't see it being anybody else. I mean, he's the
No,
number
I
one
agree.
dog.
I
I mean,
agree.
I could see you sprinkling in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, just for how well he's played this year, and he's just playing on a poor defensive team for the Sabres.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, I don't see anybody else other than UC Saros. And with a quick turnaround in games, I can see them rotating goalies a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's just Saros the entire time.
No, yeah, for sure. I don't see UPL getting it. Kevin might not, probably won't dress if he's even on the roster. UP won't get into. He might see one, but just for the heck of it. But he won't play a lot. Let's move up to the forwards. Like I said, other than Alexander Barkov, there's no like real breakout star on this roster. There is Sebastian Aho, the Carolina Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho.
Yeah, the better one.
Yeah, the better one. Michael Granlund, Eric Holla, Rope Hins, Capo Caco, Jesperi Kokiniemi, Arturi Lankinen, Anton Lindell, Rutu Ru Starden, also former. No, is that the right guy? No, that's not the right guy. Never mind. Mikko Rantanen, Tivu Teravainen, and Eli Tolvanen.
Yeah, a lot of solid guys, but nobody that's going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to watch this guy, you know?
Yeah, they're
Uh,
not this Finnish team's not going to blow out any of these teams. They're going to hang with
no.
them, and the only way they're going to win is going to be real tight 1-goal games, which they could very well, if they catch Canada or US on a bad day, could easily take them down like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be a solid team. It's just they're not going to be a high flying offensive superhouse or a super defensive team. But I will say, making a little caveat here, did you see that NHL projected Tage Thompson to be on Team USA this week?
They also projected Alex Tuck,
Nice. Yeah, I mean that's great
so
representation from the Sabres. Um,
I love
so
it. Yeah,
yeah, so back to
I mean,
Finland. Sorry, there's a little quick caveat there.
we had that. We're talking about it. You got to add it. That's fair. Um,
Yeah,
they're going to be they're going to be a physical team. I will say that. There's a lot of heavy hitters up front for Finland. They could toss the body, and especially on the back end. At least for them, the 7 projected defensemen are Miro Heiskanen, Henry Jokiharju, Asa Lindell, Nico Mikola, Olimata, Rasmus Ristolainen, and UC Velamaki.
Yeah,
Or
I
Yuso
mean,
Velamaki, yeah.
pretty big boys there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're decent defensively too. I mean, I do believe that Finland will be the weakest team, but they still have a good team.
And weakest is a funny term to throw around here because there's no weak team in this tournament.
Right.
All th- all four of these teams are powerhouse teams in international play. It's just you got to go up against the 99 overall forwards of Canada and the probably 97, 98 overall team itself of the US.
Right.
That
Yeah.
that's going to be your issue. I mean,
Yeah.
thank
I
God we
I
don't have
agree.
to thank God they don't have to deal with Russia because honestly, they Sweden and Finland get killed if they have to play Russia, but they're not in the tournament, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, which still doesn't sit right with me. I mean, I know with everything going on in Ukraine and all that other jazz that they're not going to have them in the tournament, but if you want a true best on best, you got to have Russia in there. You have one of the best
Speaking,
goalies, arguably, in
yeah,
Andre Vasilevsky. You know, you've
mhm.
got Alex Ovechkin and Kirill Kaprizov and Panarin. Not that Panarin would probably play because he's got beef with Putin, but
Yeah.
it's not right.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but as we're talking about like international play, I wanted to surprise you with a little bit of a game here
Okay,
before we get
okay.
to Sweden. I was looking the other day at the International Ice Hockey Federation's world rankings. I got the men's and the women's here. Let's be honest, the world rankings for the women have Canada at one, US at two, then everyone else is like 15 million points below them.
Yep.
Um, so it's not that we're not looking at the women's rankings, but it's just no fun looking at the women's rankings because US
Yeah,
and Canada
you know who's going to be in
dominate.
the championship every year.
Yeah. However, for the men's, it's pretty interesting. Now, I want to see if you can name, let's start with the top three teams. Last updated in May of 2024, the
Okay.
2024 men's hockey world rankings. Can you give me the top three?
Is Russia involved?
Russia is counted on the in the rankings.
Okay. And this is after the men's world championships, or is this just
I
overall?
assume so because it's the 26th of May 2024. So I assume it's after the men's world championships.
So I'm gonna have to put number one. Oh, what country is it? There's a goalie that plays for them.
I think you're overthinking this a little bit.
So you're gonna go Canada number one?
Canada's number one. Yeah.
Okay. So Canada one, US two,
Incorrect.
Sweden,
Incorrect.
Czech Republic.
Incorrect. Also,
Wow.
Czechia, not Czech Republic.
Okay, Slovakia.
Incorrect.
Wow, who is number two?
Think about it. You're not going to see them very often
And
anymore,
this
at
is
least.
so Russia.
It's Russia is technically ranked at number two, even though
Okay.
they haven't played an international tournament since 2022. Um, but they are still technically ranked at two.
Okay. So three
So
US,
incorrect.
Slovakia.
Why do you keep going with Slovakia? They're not
I
even
don't know, dude. I
okay.
love the
Slovakia
Slovak
is it?
team.
Slovakia is in the top 10. However, they are not number three.
God. Number three. So you goes with Sweden.
Incorrect.
Have I said it yet?
No, but this really contradicts what we were just saying.
Oh, Finland.
It's Finland. Finland is number three. Can you guess the U.S. ranking?
I gotta say they probably put them at five.
Incorrect.
Lower, higher.
Lower.
Ooh, seven?
They are number six.
Yeah.
So after the top three, Czech Republic or Czechia finishes at four. Switzerland is at five.
Okay.
Surprise move by Switzerland. Granted, they have some superstars on that team.
Oh, they
The
do.
U. Yeah. U.S. sits at six. That may also be because the best U.S. players are still playing in the playoffs during the tournament, but
Typically. Yeah.
most likely that's the reason. Sweden sits at seven. Another surprise pick here, Germany sitting at number 8. Um,
Germany really doesn't have that many good guys anymore. It's just Draisaitl.
yeah, but he's carrying that team to number 8. Slovakia
He
sits
is.
at 9, and then wrapping up the top 10 will be Latvia.
Latvia.
Yeah.
You know who's from Latvia?
Hmm.
Anze Kopitar.
That's incorrect.
He's from Latvia.
No, he is not. He's from Slovenia, buddy.
Oh, Slovenia.
That's not
Oh,
even close.
Latvia is the goalie,
You're yeah,
the
Elvis
goalie from
Merzlinkin.
Merzlikins, yeah.
Also, you're forgetting about our Lord and Savior, Zebnis Girgensons.
Yeah.
The
He's not even.
NHL All Star Zebnis Girgensons.
He has
Him
lived in the
and
United States longer than he has lived in Latvia.
he's the last. He was before he got traded last season. He was the last active Saber to play a game with Ryan Miller. You know that? It's wild stat. Anyway, one last caveat before we get to Sweden. I was also looking at potential qualifiers for the Olympics that in 2026.
Mhm.
And if Russia is banned, okay? They have not officially been banned for the 2026 Olympics yet. However, if they are banned, France would actually get a spot in the Olympics because they would be the second ranked qualifying team.
Then you get to see legends of Pierre Edouard Belmar.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, so let's move it over to Sweden. And if anyone's wondering, we will cover the World Junior Championships, but we're waiting a little bit longer until we get more of the rosters and get a little bit closer to the tournament. Now for Sweden, this is a team that I think would give the U.S. a run for their money.
Okay.
Starting off with the forwards, we got Jasper Bratt, Leo Carlson, Joel Eriksson, EK, Philip Forsberg, William Carlson, Adrian Kempe, Elias Lindholm, William Nylander, Elias Pettersson, Rickard Raquel, Lucas Raymond, Mika Zibanejad, and Fabian Zetterlund.
Okay. Don't
Solid forwards.
don't hate that lineup.
I love, and you got your breakout star in William Nylander. You got your fast winger in Adrian Kempe. Um, Joel Eriksson, EK, we saw him last week in Buffalo. He's been playing very well this season so far.
Yep.
Um, and another uh, power center in Philip Forsberg.
Yeah. I mean,
You can't
he's a goat.
there. And then I don't know. Once Mika Zibanejad learns how to skate again, I guess he'll be okay on this team. Um, but the Rangers have been on a little bit of a downturn the last week or two.
Yeah, they've been struggling a lot. And Savannah Jad has been just as much as part of that as any else on that team. Um, it's unfortunate because they were projected to have a decent lineup, and that rebuild that they did only lasted about a year and a half.
Yeah. Let's see who else we got here. I mean, that's really it. They're gonna be a fast pace. They're gonna shoot the puck. They might not be the flashiest team out there, but they are gonna I have a really strong feeling they're just gonna put up points in this tournament. There's no other. They're just gonna keep driving home that puck and just pound that net. And that's all they're gonna be. They're gonna be that big power team.
Yeah, I can see that. And especially defensively. Defensively, they're still probably pretty good. I mean, I think they're better than Canada defensively.
Oh, 100%. I think we talked about this last week. For their defensemen, we got Rasmus Anderson, Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Ekholm, Gustav Forsling, Victor Hedman, Eric Carlson, and Hampus Lindholm. I mean, they're easily the second strongest team in this tournament, defensively at least.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And not having Rasmus Dahlin on that team or people like not even considering him, I think that's ridiculous. If you're going to put Eric Carlson on that team, why isn't Rasmus on the team?
No, 100%. I mean, I get it. Carlson is, he's getting up there in age, but Dahlin has been, even though he's on, a struggling defensive team in the Sabres, he has been one of the best defensemen in the league so far. He's locked on when he needs to be, and he's putting up points, most importantly. He's been a pretty good all around player so far for the Sabres.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'd want Rasmus Dahlin on my all-star team if I'm taking defensemen. Right up there with like Cale Makar and other all-star defensemen that we have seen across the league, Charlie McAvoy, Adam Fox. Um, but what do you think about the Trouba rumors of him getting traded out of New York?
I did write that down somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, so I there's a couple teams that I heard are in the conversations. That does include our very own Buffalo Sabres. If we can get the carcass of Owen Power out of here for Jacob Trouba, I would love that. However, no one in their right mind would trade for Owen Power unless you give him a used washing machine along with it. The Red Wings are also in the conversation along with the Blackhawks. Honestly, I think his best fit's going to be in Chicago just because they're really looking for a big physical defenseman on the back end. We know how complacent the Sabres have been with trades. They like their defensive core. I mean, they didn't move a single defenseman this offseason. But Chicago, I think, is the one that really, really needs him. Obviously, with a young group, he could be a leader, even though he's not wearing that C, but he can really teach that back end, bring the physicality, and shut down the front of the net for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I think Trouba, when they initially got him from Winnipeg, was very effective, but just now it's just the way he plays is not fitting in with the way that the Rangers need to play to win games. The league isn't like that anymore.
Mhm.
Throwing a big hit, cool, but are you putting pucks in the net? And that's the biggest thing that you need to be looking out for now, especially in this modern day of NHL where scores are going up, and goaltending is just so good, and he's not a silky player. He's a hard hitting defenseman.
I mean, even look at the way they play defense. Look at the rushes. You don't see guys coming back and really lining people up on the blue line like Scott Stevens did in the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean, I
Right.
think I got in this argument with my dad because he's a very conservative hockey person. He likes the way it was played back in the day, and he has a big issue with the defenseman turning, pushing to their partner's side to keep up with the guy, to take the guy
Mm.
out along the boards that we see in every game this nowadays because guys can't keep up. But I'm just like, that's how the game has been. That's how the game has evolved. They just defensemen skating backwards cannot keep up with the forwards nowadays. So you got to get that weak side guy to open up and really push over to the far side, even if you want to make a play and get him before that blue line. Otherwise, someone like McDavid is going to blow by you and put the puck through the roof.
Right. That still works for us in 10:45 men's league games at Holiday, right? Like
Yeah,
we're fast enough where we can still do that and guys aren't elusive enough. But when you are playing against Connor McDavid, when you are playing against Austin Matthews, like these guys are the fastest guys in the world. You're gonna have to pivot, make that adjustment, and try and take that angle off to the side of the net because if not, they're gonna blow right by you and you're gonna look stupid sitting there with your thumb up your ass. And McDavid's gonna go down and just nip one.
yeah. No one wants to be the guy on the far side, on the back end of that highlight reel, but you know, it, and that's just the way Trouba's been playing. He's that old school guy, like you said. He's the heavy hitter. And that's the other thing. If a guy gets traded, not necessarily unless you're Owen Power, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the worst guy in the team. It just most of the time it means he doesn't fit with the play style of that team. Unless, of
Yeah.
course, again, you're Owen Power and you just suck.
Yeah. Fuck Owen Power.
I think I found our title for this episode. It's going to be Owen Power sucks. Here's why. For 45 minutes. It's going to be why Owen Power sucks. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Carl or Curtis puts the Jets on, he can blow past them and put one in.
Oh yeah. No, I,
I
I
don't
mean
know.
I don't trust Owen Power out there. I just don't.
No. I mean, put him with Aiden. Well, who do you think would win in a foot race, Aiden or Owen Power?
Owen Power because they would fall.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Through a couple college scores, then we'll get over to the Duckies. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
All right, so let's take a look at the Suniac. Obviously, a lot of the teams were out this past week in their Thanksgiving tournaments, so not a lot of in-conference play. However, Tuesday the 26th, Buff State lost to Nazareth 7-3, and Fredonia fell to Cheltenham 5-3. Going down to Friday the 29th, Stevenson upsetting Oswego 4-3. Norwich taking down Plattsburgh 1-0. And then Newman taking down Morrisville 6-4. Again, Oswego, I don't know what's going on with them. They just can't seem to put anything together.
Yeah, not looking good so far to start the year.
Saturday, moving on, Oswego 4-4 tie against the University of New England. Was not able to get a score for the Plattsburgh Marion game, so we'll just skip it.
They won.
Cortland
Plattsburgh
beat
won.
Plattsburgh won. Okay. Um, Cortland took down Curry 8-3, and Riviere took down Potsdam 2-1.
Yep, I
Moving
worked
on
that
to
game.
how was it? How was it?
It was a very tight game. Potsdam did not play well. It was a 2-1 overtime loss. Potsdam did not play well. After that, actually, Canton played. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Canton played Tufts, and Tufts won that game pretty handily. They were
4-2.
just just a much stronger game. I had both those games back to back, dude. I was dead.
Dude, that sucks. Especially doing D3 games back to back. I complain when I get 3 or 4 games back to back doing youth hockey. I can't imagine what that's like. But
Doing D3 games and lining.
ugh, ugh,
Yeah.
ugh. Well, good thing you're the most conditioned guy on the Duckies. Suck it, O'Brien. Anyway, Sunday, Canton took down Potsdam 5-1. Fredonia lost to Lake Forest 4-0, and Curry came back against Cortland 5-1. And those are your and Hamilton Fredonia. Fredonia beating them 2-1. Those are your D3 schedules. D3 scores from the past week. Moving over to the Atlantic Hockey. Tuesday the 26th, Stonehill took down Army 3-1. Friday the 29th, we had a big set of games with the UMass beating Army 3-1. Also, Robert Morris dropping to AIC 4-1. Union fell to, or Niagara fell to Union 4-2. New Hampshire took down RIT 5-1. Holy Cross 6-1 over Sacred Heart, and a 1-1 tie for Brown and Air Force. Not a strong week for Atlantic there. Moving on to Saturday, Air Force fell to Brown 5-2. New Hampshire over RIT 6-1. Union took down Niagara again, this time 5-3. AIC bounced back against Robert Morris 4-2. And Holy Cross took down Sacred Heart 4-1. Finally, on Sunday, Bentley fell to Northeastern 3-1. So not a strong week for Atlantic hockey. Let's just put it that way.
No, and RIT is just continuously looking worse and worse. Going from a championship team that they had last year to what they are this year, it's very disappointing. As someone who just loves the atmosphere there, and when RIT is good, it is just fun to be in the building. And the one thing I am surprised about is Stonehill beating Army.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Stonehill's a Division two team.
Hey, you never know. Any
Yeah.
given Sunday, right? That's what they say in football.
Any given Sunday.
Moving over real quick to some local UCHC action. Your Brockport Golden Eagles were off this week, surprisingly enough. No games for them. However, the Geneseo Knights took down Amherst College 3-2 and Williams 4-0. Finally, some AHL action where Rochester lost to Cleveland 5-4. Took down Syracuse on Friday 3-0. And finally on Saturday, a 3-2 win at Syracuse this time in a shootout. So let's switch it over to the Rubber Duckies as we look to wrap up here because both of us have to get to this Sabres game. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
Duckies this week taking on Johnny Chimpo, a Division C3 team. However, they do have a better record than us.
Yeah, but that's also like who have they played compared to who we played. Um,
Yeah.
I know for us even last week another tie against Dice Wolves, and which is having us sitting just above them with 3 points in the division. Pow Miles in first, Black Sheep in front of us. Ice Wolves was a tough fought game. It
I thought it was a
was,
I thought it was a solid back and forth game, honestly.
yeah,
Um,
I did too.
we played well. It's just we couldn't, a couple bad bounces and we go to overtime and just we couldn't really get the puck. It was like the Sabres against the Canucks. We just really couldn't get the puck for a quality opportunity. But it's a tie. We walk away with 2 points,
Yeah,
or one
Murr
point.
was out again
Well,
this week. Had to call in
yeah.
the goalie from the B team. Um,
I
I
have heard rumors Murr should be back for this week, so let's see how
nice,
that plays
nice.
out. Check up on our Instagram at Rubber Duckies Hockey for more press releases and maybe a couple comments from Murr himself over the past 2 weeks being MIA. We'll see how that plan pans out. But just a couple stats. The Duckies sitting at about 6.5 goals per game versus Chimpo's 3.5. However, they have the edge against us in goals against. They're averaging about 2.5. We're averaging about 4.75. We're about even on power play goals and about even on penalty minutes per game also. So it should be, I mean, you never know. We just got to see it when we get out on the ice and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not a team that really takes many penalties, but we also not a team that really draws many penalties. So, you know, we're not getting many of those power play opportunities like some other teams are.
Yeah, I mean, you could also argue that it's 10:45 on a Wednesday and the refs just want to go home. So
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
argue that also, which working a couple of these beer league games, I 100% agree with. Not gonna lie. Um, but at least looking at the past, obviously we tied Ice Wolves 4-4 last week. Before that, two wins against Chiefs and the Hornets, and then two losses against Palm Island Black Sheep. Looking at Johnny Chimpo, they beat the Angry Beavers 4-3. Beat Bell or Chiropractic 7-1. I wonder who's that Bell Chiropractic team. I wonder whose back hurts from carrying that team. At least they have a good contact. Um, Johnny Chippo tied the Ice Wolves. I want you to guess the score.
I'm gonna go 6-6.
Incorrect. A little bit lower.
5-5.
4-4. So
Yeah.
we'll count that as a wash in those two games. 1-0 win against Rusty Buffalo, and they beat the Hornets 5-3. So should be an interesting game. We'll see how it goes. What's some of your takeaways from last week that we could push into this game coming up on Thursday at 10:30?
Just our defensive breakdown again at the end. I mean, we were up, and then, they got a late goal. It's the tell of all tales for the Rubber Duckies here. Like, we do it every single game. Every single close game we have, we're always winning at the end, and then we just give it up.
Well, at least the Duckies and the Sabres have something in common, so that's something to look forward to. Um, I mean, I'm going to say it was kind of, I should have stepped up a little bit more on that guy right at the end there. And to be honest, I stepped up a little bit late just as he was shooting the puck deflected off my stick just enough to get past Headley. So I get blame me for that last goal. But
It is
other
what it
than
is.
that, I mean, offensively, we looked good last week. We moved the puck very well, I will say.
We did not as well as the
The
week
last
before,
No, the
but
last
still
couple
pretty good.
weeks though. Yeah, let's see. Gabe Kuglix comes away with a goal. Zach Mecca with a goal, and then O'Brien and Carl Wozniak also with a goal. I didn't think OB scored. Oh no, he didn't. He got that. That might have been a missed I'm not sure. However, that assist sitting down here for Seamus Andrews should go up here to Peter Buffon because I got screwed out of an assist.
Yeah, well, you've also taken like four of my other points, so.
No, I took like two of your other points. Is it, dude? They credited Ice Wolves last week with 41 shots. I mean, I get it. It's Tuesday night beer league, but boys, are you seeing three pucks? Are you that hammered in the timekeeper's box?
I would be.
I mean, yes, but I also trust you to see one puck.
Depends on the day.
Also, let's talk about one thing that one ref we had was sloshed that entire game.
Oh yeah,
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. He was funny though. I'll give him that.
yeah. we're not paying for the best here. We're
No, we're
paying
not.
for
I don't.
whoever's going to show up
For
on a Tuesday night.
50, dude. If it's we're paying 50, $50 cash. I mean, you gotta take what we can get. I'm not complaining at all, but
No.
it was funny to watch him ref. I'm not gonna lie. I remember I took a little tumble behind the net. I just got a little bit too close to the boards and caught my skate blade. He comes back and goes, he looks at me and goes, God damn, the fucking sniper get you from the far end. I go, yeah, I guess. Well, to be fair, I took a couple pot shots at Aiden too, so the sniper, not the ref.
Well, I think this week will be fine. Um, it's really looking into when we have to play Buffalo Fire Department. That's going to be the biggest struggle we'll have. They're a good team. They play in C1.
Yeah, I will give all our listeners because I know they're like really dying for this segment. They really want to hear about our beer league. Um, yeah, we're probably not talking about beer league that week because that's just going to be
Yeah, that's just gonna.
yeah.
We'll preview it.
Surprise.
We'll let you know the score, and we'll skip right past it.
Yeah, to be fair, that actual week I know we have planned. That's going to be our World Junior Championship preview. So we'll have a lot to
Cool.
talk about that week. That's not us getting turned inside out, punted off a cliff, then set afire by the Buffalo Fire Department. Um, but yeah. Any last things before we mop up here?
No, that's about really covers it for the week. I mean, it felt like a quick week, even though it was actually a little longer, just with Thanksgiving and traveling
Yeah.
and all that fun stuff. But no, I mean, looking forward to Thursday. Hopefully, get our winning streak back, and we're looking good for the future. Sabres play twice this week, both at home. Super pumped for that. But other than that, no, it's looking forward to a good week here.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's just take a look at the Sabres before we let everyone go here. So again, as we said, they have the Avalanche tonight. They host the Winnipeg Jets on Thursday, the 5th. And then, as we said earlier, Utah on Saturday the 7th. And then Monday they got the Red Wings. I'll look for a big homestand for them here.
Yeah,
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games at home. Next game I have, I think, is that Ranger. I'll be at that Ranger game on the 11th.
I'll be at all of them.
I
Well,
know you'll
as
be
many
at
as I
all of
can
them
get to.
because I get it. You're better than me. That's fine.
It's also you got way better seats, so
I mean, that's not tonight. I don't. I mean, I guess you get what you get for $20. What can I say? Um,
yeah, I can't complain about a $20 NHL ticket.
oh no, not at all. Also, dude, Tick Picks, that app, that's right. That's where I got it. No fees or anything. What you see is what you pay. It's
Yeah,
not like
that's nice.
Ticketmaster where you pay $60 in fees for an $18 ticket.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
And game
great,
times,
great
game
app.
times, game times pretty good about it too.
Yeah,
Their
for
fee
sure.
is much smaller than Ticketmaster, but it's
Hmm.
still nice to have when, especially if like you're making that last minute decision if you're going to go to the game or not.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I think that about wraps it for this week, unless you have
Yeah.
anything else.
No, that's about it. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Rubber Duckies Hockey, at Twitter at Rubber Duckies HC, and on TikTok at
Rubber.duckies.hockey. Got it first time this time, baby.
well, also you're eating an egg sandwich and not housing 15 IPAs, so I call that a win-win-win. Yeah.
That's true. That was a fire egg sandwich.
Anyway, on that terrible disappointment, I guess it's time to end. We'll see you guys next week, and go Sabres, go Bills, and hopefully we win this week. We'll see how it goes.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Let's go Sabres. I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. All right, so we're back. It's 10:50 on Tuesday, and we just got back from the Sabres and Avs game.
Brutal.
I don't think brutal really covers it.
Oh my God.
I really I think that really sums up what happened. It's just the silence.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
team is this team is just so bad. I don't know how this team scores 4 goals in 12 minutes, chases the goalie from the net, and then nothing. Lose 5-4. How? You're going up against, you score 4 goals, chase the goalie, then you have Scott Wedgwood in net against you. And you can't put another puck by him. Let alone that. You the Sabres let up 5 unanswered goals in 2 periods of play. 4 of which were in the third period.
I'm speechless.
I
Like honestly, I'm speechless because I don't even know what to say at this point, Peter. I don't even know what to say.
I mean Owen Power -3. I mean, you just heard our rant about him.
Exactly. And what did I say? He had 3 points in the game. I don't think he had one.
No, he had no points -3 in 21 minutes and 54 seconds worth of ice time.
It was unbelievable the claps that they had tonight.
I mean, this is the first time I've heard, well, at least first time this season I've heard them booed off the ice, and good for them. Good for the fans. They should be booed off the ice. They should be embarrassed by what they just put up out on that ice.
And the ironic part was that they were cheered off the ice in the first period and then booed after the third.
I I don't know how there's that big of a change in 40 minutes.
It was ridiculous. I mean, as we all know, I'm a Bruins fan. Like I'm a Bruins fan first always, but Sabres are a close second. For as long as I've lived in Buffalo, Sabres are a close second. And I want the Sabres to win. There are 82 games in the season. They play the Bruins 3 times. The only 3 times I will ever root against the Sabres. And I am sitting here stunned on how they can come out and play so well at the beginning. Tage Thompson, 2 goals. JJ Peterka, a goal. All against Alexander Georgiev. And they switched to Scott Wedgwood. And to Scott Wedgwood's point, he was a absolute solid goaltender for the rest of that game. And got to give credit to him because coming in 4-0 and then coming out with a W, huge. But from the Sabres' point of view, like, how do you give up a 4-0 lead? You don't score a single goal for the rest of the game, and you lose 5-4.
Well,
Unacceptable.
I could give you one reason why they let up 41 shots. That has to be a season high in allowed shots.
Hey, at least that guy
40,
at least that guy at the game got the parlay pick.
yeah, all in the first 12 minutes. Put it that way. All in the first 12 minutes. Like literally Thompson at 322 in the first. Thompson at 639 in the first. Peterka at 650 in the first. And then Beck Malenstein 1149 in the first. That's it. That was it. That was the end of the scoring. Everything we had a chance to see
Ridiculous.
they had a chance to see 2 hat-tricks tonight. To Nate McKinnon's, credit, he played an outstanding game, getting that team back on track. But
You know
I
what? Knowing that Nate Dogg, he 100% went in the locker room after the first period and bitched everybody out.
Yeah, and here's the question: who's doing that for the Sabres right now? Who, honestly, in your mind, had whether you're wearing a letter or not, whether you've been around the league for 15 years or it's your first year, I don't think there's a single player on that Sabres roster that would go in and do the same thing Nate McKinnon did in between those periods to get that team rolling.
Absolutely not. I mean, Rasmus Dahlin would be the only closest one,
And
and
he's
he's not
not going
doing
to.
what Nate's doing.
No, no.
Chasing a goaltender 12 minutes into a game. and coming out with a loss is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and it doesn't even come down to coaching. That is just a team who got complacent.
I mean,
And
complacent's a little bit of an understatement, but
it's ridiculous.
I like
Absolutely ridiculous.
I the only line that looked good was fuck. That's even a hard choice. I don't
After the
fuck.
first
I
12
can't.
minutes, there was none of them.
I honestly the only three guys I think played well today were Jason Zucker, Nick Abe-Kubel, and Beck Malmsteen. That's it. The defense looked awful. Owen Power needs to be shot,
Absolutely. Take him
drowned,
out back. I'm
sacrifice
100%
him to
on
the
board.
pit,
Throw him
sacrifice
in the
him to the
pit.
pit. I don't do something. He can't put him in. Put you got to do something. He's not good. He's not good. I don't care if he was a first overall pick or he's Mr. Irrelevant. He's not good. He should not be on this roster. Bring up. Oh, I don't even know a defenseman from Rochester that they could bring up. Honestly,
Take
um,
Murray up and put him on D. He's a big body.
yeah, might
He
as
gives a
well.
shit way more.
Um, Christ, now I gotta look. Um, at least if you do bring someone like Brett Murray up, like you said, he'll throw the body around, and that's one thing that not this team's missing. The other thing this team is missing is the ability to play hockey.
And the
Ethan
ability,
Pro, there you go. There's one. Ethan Pro, bring him up. Got Ryan. Shit, give Ryan Johnson a shot. Hale Clegg, Jesus.
and you can't put this game on Luukkonen either because he made incredible saves throughout the game.
The only reason it was still a 1 goal game was UP. It's the only reason they still had a chance at the end of that game.
Yep.
Grant, I mean, and two of the I want to say two of the Avs goals were tip-ins too, which that's completely on your defense. Completely on the defense. But
It was an embarrassing game for the Sabres.
I I'm
Embarrassing.
I'm still wearing the jersey and I'm thinking about burning it right now. Like I don't even want to wear this team stuff anymore. And you
No,
know,
I'm
I was listening to After the Whistle. It's Craig Rivet and Andrew Peters' podcast, and to their credit, they know what they're talking about. Obviously, two former NHLers, not like two beer leaguers sitting here talking about how bad Owen Power is, but they I want to say it was Andrew Peters. He was telling this story. It was a couple weeks ago on their show. He went into a Tops, and there was a lady sitting that working there with a Sabre shirt on, and he straight up asked her, you know, "Are you proud to wear that shirt?" And she said no, like straight up no. I honestly, I'm slightly embarrassed going other places wearing Sabre stuff. That's what this team is.
after tonight's performance, I 100% agree with you.
And I've grown up watching the Sabres. I love the Sabres. I went to when I was living in Rochester. I paid for NHL Center Ice and got a VPN just so I can watch them. And now that they're not worth the $20 I spent on my ticket today.
No, they it was ridiculous. I mean, no team with a 4-0 lead should lose. No team. 4-2 is respectable. 4-3 is like, okay, you're losing it a little bit, but to go up 4-0 and lose 5-4 in regulation, unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And you can't even put that to Lindy because he called his timeout, tried to calm the team down, and then they proceeded to score two more goals. And and you gotta give credit for the Avalanche because they came back in that game and they played balls to the wall. The second and third period, they dominated the game, and
I
that's
mean,
why they ended up with 41 shots.
I mean, if you're an Avs fan, you're looking at this game like this is your turning point in your season right here. It really is.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
mean,
be surprised.
we talked about it earlier here, how they were having a little bit of an up and down season, kind of in the middle of the Central. This is a game that, like, if this team goes on a run and goes deep in the playoffs, you look back and be like, yeah, it was that Sabres game in December, down 4-0. They came back. That's what sparked this team. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, and it was ridiculous. And as much as we are Sabres fans, we have to pay homage to the Avalanche for that
Dude,
because
they
it was an
played an
incredible
amazing game.
effort. Played other than the first period, other than the first 10 minutes for the Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Sabres played well for 10 minutes. The 50 minutes after that was all Avalanche.
I mean, and yeah, they just put they put shots on. They were fast. They were moving the puck. They were stepping in passing lanes. They were eating shots in the defensive zone. I mean, it's everything you want from a team for a whole 60 minutes, even being down 4-0. It's exactly what you want to see. I
Absolutely.
like you said, if you're an Avalanche fan, this is this is the game of the year for the Avalanche right now, easily.
Absolutely. For where they're at in the season
Yeah,
and if they're looking for a turning point, this is their turning point. They still don't have Landeskog, which is their captain who's been out since the Stanley Cup in 2022. Um, yeah, this is a turning point for the Abs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a solid run here. But looking forward, I mean, they've got Winnipeg on Thursday. Hopefully, they can turn around that awful loss. I mean, Lindy needs to bag skate him tomorrow.
I I I I don't, dude. I don't think a
No
bag skate's
words.
even
No
gonna.
words.
I did. I don't
No
think they're.
words.
I don't think the effort tonight is worth a bag skate. The only thing that I think it was worth was miracle was is a miracle against the Norwegian team. That's the only thing that this team deserves right now is skating until they physically die on that ice tonight. They should never left that ice. Lindy should have put them on the line with that 14,000 people still in the building. If you're just like Herb Brooks said, if this is the effort you're going to give in the game, okay, we'll give you the effort. You're going to give me the effort right now. It's the only thing that
And the first 12 minutes was amazing. After that, absolute disappointment.
you, I mean, if they think that 10 minutes of a game is going to, obviously, if 10 minutes of the game isn't going to win you a regular season game against the Avs in December, where do you think this team's going to be if to even have a shot making the playoffs? That's the question you got to ask.
They don't. They don't.
They don't. And I was very, as much as I want the Sabres to make the playoffs, I was very pessimistic about them making the playoffs in the first place. And after this performance, they have zero shot. I
No
don't care
chance.
where they are. I don't care where they are in the standings, where they will be in the standings if they turn this around. Even if somehow, how about let's just say by some miracle, they turn this whole season around, they go on a 20-game winning streak in January and February, make the playoffs. They're done in the first 4 games. They're getting swept easily because they don't have the intensity to win a December game. They're not going to have an intensity to win a playoff game.
No, they're not built for it. And part of that goes back on Kevin Adams. And the other part of that goes back on the players. It's not Lindy. Lindy's a proven coach.
20 years. He is the longest tenured coach by one franchise in league history. 20 years. And look what he did in those 20 years. Granted, he was backstopped by two of the greatest goaltenders to ever live, but um, look what he did in those 20 years here.
It yeah, it's disappointing. It's tonight was just disappointing. If it's one word to describe tonight, it's disappointing.
It's shit.
I was driving home tonight, stuck in traffic, and I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, holy shit. Like 4-0 to lose 5-4. Like I'm not even a Sabres fan. I am, but I'm not. And just disappointing.
I mean, even when I'm coming back from games, win or loss, I like listening in the post game. So I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear what the players have to say. This is the first time this season I haven't turned on post game. I didn't want to listen to it. I don't really care to listen
There's
to it
nothing.
anymore.
There's nothing to explain for this loss.
No, you can't. Just like us, we're sitting here speculating on scapegoats. Really, that's all we're doing here. But you can't, like you said, you can't explain it.
This is the first time you and I have ever gone back onto the pod to not end it, and
All right.
it's been like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yep. And it
This was
doesn't
a
help
holy
that
shit game.
we were sitting 2 seats apart from each other the entire time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm genuinely mad.
you know what? I'm not even mad anymore. It's like that, like you said, the word for today is disappointing. It's like when you walk and you do something bad when you're a kid and your parents go, "Oh, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed." And it just hurts that little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I've been a Sabres fan all my life. I lived through 13 years worth of this. I lived through, 14, 15, 17, whatever the hell the Ralph Kruger shit was. I've seen all the bad times. I've seen very little of the good times. Like I was around for '06, like '05 through '07, but I wasn't really, paying attention during it, obviously. But I've really only seen the bad times of this team, and I've expected this team to be bad. But this just, I don't know. This is something else.
This is a kick in the nuts.
There's not one time in the run where they were tanking for Dahlin or tanking for Eichel or tanking for the absolute joke that is Owen Power. There is not one time I've been this disappointed with a loss.
And I've been a Sabres fan for 3 years now, on top of being a Bruins fan. And my first ever game that I went by myself to the Sabres was the Jack Eichel return game, and I was the biggest Sabres fan I could ever be that game. And
Mhm.
now it's turned into, I want the Sabres to win. Like I want them to win. And tonight was just an absolute disappointment. Um, it was something that I was so pumped that they came out and started hard. Um, and then they just blew it. But in better news, the Bruins won tonight, so that's a good thing.
At least one of us is slightly happier.
I'm slightly happy, but like, as much as I hate to say it, I think I'm a Sabres fan first at this point. Like I am so far removed from being a Bruins fan that I I want the Sabres to win more than I want the Bruins to win. And it's just disappointing. And it's unfortunate that we have to end this pod like this, but
I mean,
ridiculous.
hopefully, hopefully we see you all next time if we are mentally stable or alive to even record the next one after this performance. But I
We
don't know.
got Rubber Duckies on Thursday, the Jets on Thursday. Maybe
Jesus.
it'll turn our emotions around.
Well,
Um,
that's one way to start a beer league game. Watch the Sabres get clobbered by another Western Conference team.
Jets haven't been playing well.
Yeah,
It's
neither
the
had the
same thing we said
Avalanche.
about the Colorado. I know.
But
And hopefully we can get a win. We go into the Duckies game with high intentions, play a team, win, but just ridiculous.
well, anyway, this is long. It was a long pod as it is, even longer now. I guess we'll let you guys go and get to the rest of your life. Really, let's be honest with it. I don't have to listen to us moan and groan for a little bit. Um,
Yeah,
like we said, yeah.
make sure to follow us on our socials. Rubber Duckies Hockey on Instagram, Rubber Duckies Hockey HQ on Twitter. and rubber.duckies.hockey on our TikTok. Hoping to post a little more content later in the week if I mentally can get over this hump that we have this past night. Ridiculous. And I hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, shout out to our boy in Germany who
I don't know
this.
I don't know who's listening in Frankfurt, but I absolutely love it every time I see it pop up. Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
great. We're international, baby.
Our boy in Frankfurt, hit us up on the DM. We'll get you on for an interview. See what you love about the pod and just a little about yourself. That'd be huge.
Well, first off, I gotta change my Duolingo to German then. And I give you
they all speak English over there. They all speak English.
I give you
honestly, our guy in Germany, like, hit us up on the Instagram, shoot us a DM, let us know. And we'll have you on the pod. That'd be huge.
$10 says he's a hunter that was looking for a hunting podcast. Saw it was hockey and was like, never mind, I'll give him a shot.
I don't know, is there much duck hunting in Germany?
There's only one way to find out. He has to hit us up.
Yeah, he's got to hit us up on the pod.
Yeah.
Keeps downloading it every week, hoping we talk about hunting.
Hopefully it makes it this far.
Yeah. Unfortunate end of this night, but we appreciate you guys for listening in. Both myself and Peter, we appreciate you. So
it's
hope
something
you have a good rest of your week.
Yeah, something to look forward to, if not the Sabres. So thanks for listening, guys. Guess we'll see you next time.